MacDonald. I've been living here in Finland for 13 years or so. I'm actually half Finnish and half Scottish and all Canadian. And that even makes mathematical sense where I'm from. So that works fine. And I'm a little bit, I'm kind of used to being a bit different. I'm a gay guy and I'm also transgender. So I talk a lot about that kind of stuff in my comedy and actually, after one set recently, this guy came up to me and said, "Are you really Canadian?" I was like, I had all that other stuff there, and he wanted to talk about hockey. That's what he wanted to talk about. It was fine. It occurs to me, actually, I haven't told the authorities in Canada about my gender transition yet. So technically, I'm a male in Finland and a female in Canada. So if you think your citizenship is complicated, I heard you took my passports. And one thing about moving to Finland, about like getting used to life here, is that people are really, they mean really well, but I get all the time, I get the question, how long have you been in Finland? Which is a really innocent question, but it always sounds like, so when are you leaving? I know, this is the thing. With Finns, it's like, we have to distinguish between actual, hardcore, real racism and just Finnishness. Because, people will come here and they'll say, I don't think Finnish people are really pleased to see me. And I'm like, Finnish people are not pleased to see anybody. There's like, people, they say that the lack of sunlight, the lack of exposure to sunlight in the winter months makes Finnish people depressed. But I would also offer that exposure to Finnish people makes Finnish people depressed. If you want to test this, you can go to the metro at 7 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. And you can see everybody with their Finnish resting face on. It's like if Zen Buddhist monks made horror films where nothing happens, but it's completely terrible. And even the food here is a bit casually racist, you go to Spain, they give you tapas, you go to, Japan, you get sushi, and in America, they give you an organic burger the size of a baby. You come to Finland and they give you manni. And they're like, try it. You won't like it. And as a foreigner, you're screwed, because if you do like it, then your Finnish friend looks at you like, Because nothing makes you guys feel more Finnish than watching a foreigner hate your food. Next thing you do is like, let's try something else. So here's some yellow. What is this? Yellow vino. Okay. Oh, that's horrible. Now we can be friends. Because the Finnish way of being friendly is not so much about like welcoming people in, but it's sort of a once upon a time I had to suffer, and I think that you would enjoy to suffer too. Now let us go swim in the ice. Or same thing as like when I transitioned to be a guy, my male friends came up to me and they said, so do you have to go to the army now? And I'm like, I'm a little bit old to go to the army, but why would you want me to go to the army? Once upon a time I had to suffer. And I think you would enjoy to suffer too. It's just all the time, this kind of casual, it's like you just kind of get scared if you're a foreigner a little bit. I had major surgery recently, which, everything went fine, but I was just on the table and the anesthesiologist would give me the anesthetic with this kind of like, this gas mask that comes up as and she was just asking me questions to get me to fall asleep, but I didn't quite realize this. So she said, how are you doing? Fine. How long have you been in Finland? I was like, it's the last thing I remember before going. I'm not waking up this time. But that's just Finnishness. And there is actual, real racism, which is absolutely shameful and stupid. people like these kids who were caught dressing up as the KKK and Lofty and throwing stones at the Red Cross and the refugees. This is just unbelievably stupid. I mean, one thing is like they didn't really hit very many people with the stones, possibly because they had a stupid head thing on. If you take that off, maybe a better aim. I don't know. But do you know did you hear how they caught this 19-year-old who was dressed as the KKK? That was good audience participation. You must be foreigners. They caught him because he bought a bed sheet. Now, what does it say about 19-year-old Finnish males? Police suspicions were first aroused when a 19-year-old Finnish guy bought something that wasn't pizza, Red Bull, or weed. It's like, you go in front of the Alco and there's a bunch of kids who are slightly underage and they're a little bit like, hey man, can you get us some beers? And you do it because, you were once young and you have to kind of connect the circle of life. You do it. Now it's going to be like, you're in front of like Kodin Antila and there's some 17-year-old going like, hey man, can you get me a bed sheet? And I would get it for them. I really would. I would get them good Finnish design. It's going to be Finlayson. It's going to have Tom Finland all over it. Have a nice time, kid. And we really need to, like, how do we talk to each other? I got in an argument with the Aito Avioliitto people because they think that marriage is basically between a man and a woman and a cheese and a goat and nothing else. I don't know what they think. But I saw their tents last summer and I thought, I'm going to go have a really good conversation and we're going to exchange dialogue and then we're going to learn something from each other. And it didn't quite go that way. But to be fair, it was my fault. Because instead of going up and being reasoned in dialogue, I just looked at the woman and went, it's a shame! And I got a call from my boyfriend the same day. So I lost an argument with the Aito Avioliitto people. I said, what did you do? And he said, I just went up to them and I said, I think you're a bigot and you suck! But we need to learn how to talk to each other a little bit better. And I have a tip from the animal kingdom. I've been told that bonobos, the apes, when they settle disputes, they don't necessarily fight each other. They have sex. Stay with me here. So if one of them has a tree and the other one wants the tree, instead of killing each other, they have sex and then they share the tree. Which is great, because it's like, imagine if you walk into the room and your friend has a piece of pie, and you would like some pie, you can just be like, do you want to have sex? And then you share the pie. So, I'm thinking this would maybe work with some of the perussuomalaiset. I could just walk up to Teuvo Hakkarainen and say, once upon a time I had to suffer, and I think you would enjoy to suffer.